So what will this mean for passengers today? Is this going to be chaos for those coming in, those leaving, or a bit of both?
Good morning. No, we don't do a passport control going out, so people leaving the UK shouldn't notice anything different at all. People coming in, yes, it will be more challenging, but ISU, which represents 20% of staff, have not gone out on strike, so they will be there anyway. And the Home Office have put in plans to bring very senior officers and what have you down to the controls as well. So it shouldn't be horrendously bad, but it might be a little bit longer. The big key to this is the e-gates. If the e-gates are working, then that will help considerably.
I mean, that's part of the problem, though, isn't it? If the e-gates work, it sort of adds to the argument that says, do we need this number of people at this level of pay?
Yes, you do. You need more frontline staff at the controls. I know I'm bound to say that, but yes, you do, because it's not the Brits that are the problems. It's the other people that are coming into the UK that we need to make sure that they are the right people coming in.
The people who have been trained up to step in today, are you confident that they've had enough skill set, that they can be equipped, that for some of the cases that come through, it will be highly complex, very detailed, that they can process that effectively and also safely?
No, the military will not deal with anything that is complex at all. So I suspect that the Border Force will deploy the military onto British passport holders that don't use the e-gates, and they will be supervised very closely by a proper Border Force officer.
Hey, Kevin, can I move on now? We have a People's poll on GBNews this morning talking about the Rwanda situation, and an overriding amount of our viewers seem to approve of this. Now, as somebody who was in control of our immigration forces for 14 years, you've spoken a lot of common sense on the issue of offshore containment. Is it still your position that's the best route forward for the UK?
Oh, yes. Rwanda is definitely something that we should be looking at and dealing very seriously. What I hear is that there are other East African countries that are looking at this very closely because they're thinking, we might be able to get in on the same bandwagon here. So I think that once we get the planes taking off for Rwanda, we're going to see quite a big difference. And
that's the question, though, isn't it, Kevin? Once that happens, I mean, how confident are you? I know you're not a lawyer and you're not dealing with the legal arguments, but it looks like there's an awful lot of appeals and an awful lot of legal red tape before we see one of those planes take off with anyone on board.
Yeah.
Well, let's face it, the only people that are making anything out of this are the lawyers. And they're doing very, very nicely. But I'm a little bit upset with the charity sector that are doing this. They're very quick to go to court if they don't like something, but they're not rolling over now that we've got a decision from the High Court which says that our policy is quite legal. So it's a little bit galling, quite honestly.
Kevin, OK, Kevin, well, as it's the end of the year, if you had to give this government an end-of-year score for how they've handled the immigration system this year, what would you give them?
Oh, dear, you're going to get me into some big trouble, aren't you?
That's the point.
Yeah, probably 5 out of 10. Could do better.
And I think you're being quite charitable out there, Kevin. There's a little bit of Christmas spirit maybe in your score, but fair enough.